Next on Worcester News Tonight, celebrating women's equality, how Worcester played a role in the 19th Amendment. Plus, a look at how some central Massachusetts stables are protecting their animals after 2 horses infected with Triple E are euthanized. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. Monday, the country celebrates Women's Equality Day. For nearly a century, women have had the ability to vote thanks to the 19th Amendment. Worcester had a role in the fight for women's rights, holding numerous conventions in the city. Our Cam Jandro joins us now with more. Cam?
Anna, it was 99 years ago the 19th Amendment was adopted by the United States, finally giving women the right to vote. I spoke to the YWCA earlier today, and they say there's still lots to do in terms of women's rights, but it's better than it was 99 years ago. City Manager Ed Augustus remembers some of the game-changing women from Worcester.
Abby Kelly Foster, who of course is a well-known abolitionist and women's rights activist. Frances Perkins, who was the first woman to be a member of the president's cabinet.
Monday is Women's Equality Day, commemorating the adoption of the 19th Amendment, prohibiting states from denying the right to vote based on sex. Part of the movement to enact the amendment started in the city.
There was a hall right across from, it's been torn down, but right across from Mechanics Hall where the first women's rights convention was held.
The YWCA of Central Massachusetts has their mission statement on their front door: to eliminate racism and empower women. The nonprofit has been in the city since 1885, 35 years prior to the signing of the 19th Amendment. For staffers like Debbie Hall, the change is noticeable, not just for women, but for women of color.
When I was a little girl, we didn't really have those dreams because we didn't see people like us in elected office, and now it's possible. We have Kamala Harris. We have folks running for the highest office in the land.
Hall says those changes can be seen in both Worcester and in Washington.
Running for a school committee, running for city council. We saw the midterms in 2018 with a record number of women gaining seats in both the Senate and the House of Representatives.
Worcester has always been a leader in terms of freedom and including more people in that promise of, all people being created equal.
Now, the city manager says he's expecting a kiosk to be built and placed in downtown Worcester by Mechanics Hall, memorializing that very first women's rights convention that will be part of the Main Street redevelopment plan. In the studio tonight, I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
It can be an exciting time of year as college students head back to school, but it can also be dangerous for some. The time between August and November is called the Red Zone. According to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, more than 50% of college assaults occur during this time frame. Statistics show college-age women between 18 and 24 are 3 times more likely than women in general to experience sexual violence. Senator Michael Moore thinks it's critical to educate students about the risk of sexual assault before entering college.
I think right now with the students going to be away from home, this is the time to really educate them and try to expose them to some of these issues and some of these horrible things that they could have to deal with through education rather than through actual personal experience.
Senator Moore refiled legislation to prevent sexual violence on college campuses last session. The bill is currently in committee. Moore hopes to get it passed this session. Tens of thousands of college students are back in the city for the start of school. Several local hotspots rely on the college crowds and say they look forward to this time of year. Our Chandler Walsh has more.
College students are welcomed back on Worcester campuses. Their presence is also celebrated at local businesses, too.
We're all excited. We all get ready for them, and we love to see them every year coming back.
There's been an uptick in lunches, kids coming around, the parents bringing them to school, dropping them off, coming here for lunch afterwards.
Boston Donuts on Park Ave says business soars up to 40% once school starts. They see an increase in public school parents and teachers in the mornings and undergrads in the afternoons and on weekends.
This kind of business, it's kind of tricky. You can't really tell. Sometimes you just, it gets really busy, or sometimes it's really slow. It's really different, but it's a lot better when the students comes back.
Down the street, Blue Jeans Pizza has increased their deliveries, sending food to college sports teams who arrived before dining halls opened.
They have to feed all these young guys that are ravenous after practice. So a lot of times they're coming in, picking up, or we're delivering big catering orders.
The city's 9 colleges and universities enroll nearly 40,000 students. The Banner Bar and Grill caters to the college crowd. Bartender Michelle Gedman says trivia nights and DJs are a big draw.
We are starting some live music on a couple of the nights as well. Hopefully that'll bring more of them in.
The local spots already notice a difference in foot traffic in the city, but say it will pick up in the coming weeks.
We sell so many buffalo chicken pizzas, we just can't believe it.
We give them student discounts, so I hope they like that too. So I see a lot of kids, showing us their student IDs.
Now, the majority of Worcester's colleges have already had their move-in days. The businesses say they'll see the real increase on the weekends, and they're ready. In Worcester, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Summer vacation is over for Worcester Public School students. They headed back to school for their first day today. School officials are reminding drivers to be careful when approaching school zones. They should be prepared to stop or slow down. Crossing guards in Worcester say they sometimes notice drivers forget to approach crosswalks with caution during the school year.
There's a lot of traffic here. It can be very strenuous at times, and people do get impatient here, but for the safety of all the children and all the adults and everyone coming to the school, we need to follow the rules, come to the crosswalk, wait for the crosswalk guard to cross them, and follow the rules to come across the street safely.
And a piece of advice from crossing guards for pedestrians: it's important to remember you need to be cautious when walking by staying off your phone and waiting for the guard to give you the go-ahead to cross. A forum in Webster Monday night examines physician-assisted suicide. It was organized by Western Massachusetts Death with Dignity. They discussed the proposed bill, which would make Massachusetts the 9th state to legalize such a law. The organization says Death with Dignity allows the terminally ill to die in a peaceful, humane manner.
People who feel that in this country in particular they have wanted and in many cases had control over their lives when they approach the end of their lives or their loved ones approach the end of their lives, they want to have options.
We also spoke to the Diocese of Worcester, who's against physician-assisted suicide. Spokesperson Ray Delisle says there are other options.
Better care for the dying so that people did not feel like they had to resort to assisted suicide. And one of the keys in all of this is really palliative care or pain management. Right now, I think with the opioid crisis, et cetera, everyone is getting more afraid about how to use pain management effectively.
Western Massachusetts Death with Dignity says they expect the bill to be discussed next month. Currently, 66 legislators are co-sponsors. A 38-year-old woman is facing multiple charges. Millbury police say she left her child in a car at the shops at Blackstone Valley. Police say 38-year-old Sheila Parslow left her 15-month-old child alone in a car Sunday afternoon. A customer noticed the child sleeping. The car was locked with its windows rolled up. Parslow was arrested and charged with reckless endangerment of a child and possession of a Class A drug. The state confirms a woman from eastern Massachusetts has died from EEE. Closer to home, central Massachusetts has reported a human case, and several horses have also tested positive for the virus. An Uxbridge stable owner is taking precautions to reduce the risk from mosquitoes. Our Aaron Keating has the story.
Lauren Vanderzeit feeds her horses, Tino and Tiny. The head instructor of Vanderzeit Stables says confirmed cases of EEE in horses led her to take extra precautions.
We were very scared because it's right in town, so we just wanted to make sure that we were avoiding mosquitoes at all costs, just like people are.
Horses like Tino and Tiny are vaccinated, something Vanderzeit says every horse that comes through the stable has to do.
They're all vaccinated for EEE. We also take them in at 4 o'clock every day right now so that they're not out at night.
With the town's threat level raised to critical, the Uxbridge Board of Health teamed up with the Massachusetts Department of Health. They scheduled an aerial spraying beginning on Sunday, but the cooler weather delayed the spraying until Monday night.
Because the temperature was below 60, the mosquitoes are not active and the spraying would have been ineffective.
David Tapscott is the vice chair of the Uxbridge Board of Health. He says the pilots determined the weather was not suitable for spraying.
And they were flying around and people heard them. They thought that the spraying was taking effect, but in fact what they were doing was monitoring weather conditions.
Vanderzeit says taking precautions has affected the stable's hours, but says once spraying is complete, business should return back to normal.
For right now, we're canceling nighttime this week. So once they stop spraying and we kind of get an update, then we'll continue.
Erin Keating, Worcester News Tonight.
An unexpected donation to the West Boylston Fire Department will help crews battle brush fires in town. Fire Chief Tom Welsh says they were going to purchase this 150-gallon water tank from Auto-Right Motors. The tank was installed onto one of the back of their trucks to help assist with brush fires in town. When Chief Welsh asked for an invoice, the owner of Auto-Right told them they were donating it to the department.
Which was really nice of them to do, because with a struggling budget, we take anything we can get. We don't get that many brush fires, but we get those nuisance fires, the mulch fires, little grass fires on the side of the road, and we said, oh, this will make it, a good option for us to have.
Chief Welsh says the truck is an automatic, which will allow guys who cannot drive the standard fire engines to respond. Demolition crews back at Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church today. Crews removed the church's cross early this morning as they were chipping away at the dome of the church. It was built in 1928 and closed in 2016 after the diocese said the building was deteriorating. Crews are expected to remove the church piece by piece.